Hello and welcome back to another Peoplevox tutorial. Today we're going to quickly go over how to create a rule using the new advanced Putaway. This means you'll be able to customize and tailor Putaway logic to exactly what your operation requires. So the purpose of this video is to show you the basics of how to set up a rule with multiple layers. So you'll be able to watch this and then build your own custom rules with what you learned today. So in this test login, we've got a few SKUs here, including this SKU that starts with shoes. So the reason why it's important to see this and where it's currently located is this is the SKU that we'll be using for our put-away rule. So it's currently only in bulk, dispatch, and quarantine. And for our put-away rule, we'd like it to go into a pick location. So on the left-hand side, we can either click the warehouse icon or expand using this arrow. Scroll down to setup, and then down to Putaway Rules Beta, and it will launch the Putaway screen. If you haven't got access to that part of the screen yet, please create a ticket and we'll be able to enable it for you. So now we're in the Putaway screen, you can see there's two default rules set up already. Everybody gets these two rules with this module as a way to give some guidance on the first Putaway and to make sure there is a rule that offers a location regardless of what happens with the SKUs and the rules that are set up. So that's sort of like a catch-all rule, or a fallback is a way to think of it. And we have our rules in order. 1 being the first rule we go through, down to 999. So going back to the shoes, we like to create a rule just for shoes. So we click add, we can call this shoes, and is active, yes or no? Yes, we'd like to do it. The rule order is 2. So we'll follow the default rule first if we want to use all of them, or we can select this individual shoe rule on the app later on. And we'd like to use conditions. So this means we'd like to set the conditions that this rule applies to. So in this case, we would like to say item code starts with shoes. Now there's multiple fields here you can use. I'll just scroll through them slowly so you can have a quick read. Feel free to pause at any moment as well to get a clearer look at the icons that are on here. You've got all your attributes there too. Then depending on what you select here, these options will change and potentially a drop down on the final box here. So nice and simple, item code starts with shoes. Now we want to create the rules for this. So in this scenario, we would say add a step, and we'd like to look for existing locations with shoes. That way we can keep the shoes in the right area with other shoes. And this will be the first step of the rule we follow. So what we're going to do is here on this list, we have different filters here as well. I'll scroll slowly so you can have a quick look. First, we need to identify which locations already contain shoes. So to do that, we scroll down and select current usage is true. Now, people often get confused between that one and location contains no other different items. Now, the difference between this one and current usage equals true is if the location contains no other different items, it could either be locations that contain shoes only or empty locations because they don't contain any other different items as well. Then we need to also search by location type, which equals pick. And then we select add. And that is the first part of our rule. This is our first step. So before we go ahead and click save, there's a few other things on this screen I'd like to show you that will be helpful both now and in the future. So depending on what filter you select here, you'll have a value box appear here. So if we were to scroll down to, say, location or container name equals, we have our filters here. So equals is generally the fastest one to perform. And then you can say, not equals and so on, which is really helpful. And then you've got your value here. So here we can also compare what you're filtering. It's a pre-existing value within Peoplevox, which is really helpful to be able to rule out or rule in a storage type, for example. So that's the first part of our rule. We'll hit save on there. That then means we'll look for locations that contain shoes already and are in pick. Now we'll add another section, or a second rule. Location is empty. So in this scenario, there's no locations in pick that contain shoes. So now we want to look for a location that is empty. And location is empty is true. Add. And save. And now imagine the warehouse is really full and there are no empty locations either. We'd like to put a third step in here just to make sure we cover all bases. So we go to add, and we're going to call this zone B because we can filter by location zones. So we will go here, press Z for zone name equals zone B, add, and location contains any items, so it'll be a mixed SKU location in this scenario, is true. And click add and save. So now we go back to the top, we've got our shoe rule, using the conditions that the item code starts with shoes. And then the 3 different rules that we will look through when putting away. So look for where it exists already with other shoes. If not, find an empty location. If not, zone B with any other SKU. What I'd like to show you as well, if we go to this top rule, is we have sort. In here, you can sort the order in which locations are looked through as well. So either by name, barcode, group name, sequence, zone name, or total quantity in location. Most people would look for the sequence. So normally this is the order in which you walk through the warehouse. So you can do that ascending or descending. So if we clear that ascending one and put in descending, hit save. And that will take that into account when we run this Putaway rule. Now this is all finished, we can click save. Confirmation message saying it's been saved successfully, which is great. And we go back and now we can see we've got this rule here. So if you'd like to see a more in-depth video, comment below. And if you'd like to see what this workflow looks like on the Android, comment below as well. Any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to us via support and we'll be more than happy to help. I hope you found this useful and thank you for your time.